Hey everyone, Sean Corbett, True West Realty up here, Dallas Fort Worth. I've got a superstar online with me. I've known Matt for a few years. He and I have done a few things together, and I thought he would have a really interesting story for you guys to kind of listen in on those that are looking at getting into real estate, getting their active license, looking for a broker. Matt's seen just about every possible scenario you can imagine, and the way they set it up, from lower transaction fee, which is pretty attractive for a lot of people wanting to save some pennies, to those that offer a ton of support. Matt, I want you to do kind of a quick introduction and kind of where you're at, and then I'll kind of take us from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sean, I appreciate you having me on here. It's an honor to obviously get to work with you again and be able to talk. So I appreciate you inviting me. So my name is Matt Mittelstadt. Been in the real estate industry for the last 20 years. I'm based out of the Austin, Texas area. My passion is, helping families, sell and buy real estate. But over the years, I've also found a passion in helping agents be successful as well. So I'll throw the call back to you, brother.
Sure, yeah. So why did you get into real estate? You said you have a passion for helping people. Is that kind of where things started for you? Like, where were you at before that? So you're doing something else, right? I mean, everyone, you don't normally at 21 become a real estate licensed agent. Not many do.
Yeah. So the background, man, is I grew up in the north side of Austin, in the Cedar Park area. I went to high school in Georgetown. But my father has been in the mobile home business, manufactured housing business for the last 40 years. And so as a kid, I was around that. I was around, and if you don't know what those are, you've probably heard of companies like Palm Harbor Homes. That's the company he's with. And I grew up around that. I grew up around people that were selling homes, except for they have wheels on them, right? So there's a little bit of a difference. When I turned about 20, I had already wanted to kind of get into the sales world of selling manufactured homes. And so my first job was up in Tyler, Texas, back in 2003, working at a mobile home dealership. And then from there, what happened was I moved to Florida after the hurricanes in '04. Because there was a lot of replacements that needed to be done, and kind of started my career in East Texas and Tyler. And then I moved to Florida, was there 3.5 years, top in production out there. We were on the #1 team with Palm Harbor Homes for a good 4 years running. And then when the market crashed, the country got hit really bad in certain areas. And in Florida, I was in near the Tampa area, a little town called Plant City. Like overnight, somebody flipped the switch, and no, people were losing money. I mean, we all understand the financial crisis and housing crisis at that time. And so I decided to move back to Texas, and I moved back to San Antonio. I'm from Austin, but I moved to San Antonio, and I went to the #2 dealership there. We ended up taking that dealership to the #1 dealership in the company. And from there, I ended up opening up my own store. So I managed salespeople and managed a store, and then ended up basically back in Austin. And I actually had a customer. I was in that career for about 10 years, and I had a customer that was buying a triple wide from me for his ranch. And he was a real estate agent, and he said, you should get into real estate. You've been doing this so long, and there's, more time with your family, more freedom, and I just basically, at that time, it's funny, I saved up about 10 grand, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this run into real estate. And so that's kind of how I got into real estate. And this gentleman had just started his own brokerage in Austin. And that's kind of how I got into real estate.
Gotcha. And I actually grew up in Pflugerville and Round Rock, and the Austin area, the north side. This is back early 80s. I'm older. But early 80s, I was there. I moved here to Highland Village, which is north of Dallas Fort Worth Airport, about 85, 86. But we go down there all the time. And, Palm Harbor, I knew them. They're all 35. They have a number of big dealerships off there. I remember growing up seeing them. And then I have family in San Antonio, so we would pass by those dealerships all the time.
Yep. Yeah, I actually, Sean, the last store I was at before I got into real estate was the one off of in Round Rock. Okay. I was actually the sales manager at that store. That was my last store there. So, but yeah, no, they've been around a long time. They taught me basically everything I know about customer service, about, helping the clients find what their wants and needs were. So, jumping into real estate, as a new agent, I really wasn't new, but I definitely had to learn how the real estate world worked, and I definitely had some trying times in the beginning, just because I was finding out that it was a dog eat dog world, and at Palm Harbor it was more of a family feel, like
Yeah.
everybody took care of everybody. But what I realized is the brokerages, like they were trying to take all the money from you, right? And so that I kind of went down that road, and it kind of brings me to where I am today, and why I have a passion for the real estate agent and helping them be successful.
I mean, all those are very important to developing and creating kind of what's important to you, right? Like what you want to set up, what you want to create. So you joined a local broker. That's what got you into real estate. Um, and I know, since then you've done a number of branding, opportunities. I know the 10X was a big one, that you did. What is the 10X? Where did that come from, and what does it stand for you?
Yeah. So it's funny. I was following Grant Cardone on YouTube. This was way before he kind of blew up to where he is today. And I was following him on YouTube, and this was back probably 2010, 2011. And I read his book, The 10X Rule. And I was reading that while I was in the mobile home industry. And then when I got into real estate, I realized that there were a lot of lazy agents. Okay. And I realized that everybody and their mother was a real estate agent. And so I realized that I had to differentiate myself and brand myself. I've always had this branding mindset that, the person that's going to work with me is because they like and trust me. But also, I've got to be different than everybody else around me. And so, what 10X stands for, when I read the book, The 10X Rule, which I do recommend for everybody to read, because you can implement it in your life and anywhere. But where it resonated with me as a real estate agent was, the meaning behind it was, I was going to work 10 times harder, smarter, and faster than the average agent, and that's why my customers would want to work with me. And as I started to build that brand, the 10X agent, that was me personally. And then after that, when I went to start a team, I realized that I wanted to train agents to have the same mindset that I had to make them successful, because I saw a huge dip. I saw a huge statistic, which was, 80, I think it's like 87% of realtors, fell within their first 5 years. And it has to do with, them nobody actually helping them. All these brokerages come after them like, hey, come join us. We've got the best training. We got this. And then they join the brokerage, and they're basically just a number, and they don't have any support. And so I wanted to be able to support the agents, and bleed that mindset into them. And that's what I did. I even have, Sean, I even have a tattoo, the 10X agent on here. See? Yeah. So
Like it.
that is my brand. So I've had it for quite some time now.
The 10X is something that you can get behind. You can get agents behind. Whenever a new agent joins, you have a 10X philosophy that you've created, that you do, and you, I assume, are creating things that are duplicatable, right? Things that other people can pick up and do what you're doing. What kind of training makes it different, right? Because you're right. I want to step back just a second. So we talk about you working in a family environment. We have a lot of people that join real estate. Real estate is an independent contractor business, right? We're all entrepreneurs. If you don't have an entrepreneurship, and you're not interested in just jumping in the ocean and hoping you can swim, those are things you've got to think about and consider. Because even in your group and your team, at some point they're going to have some ownership of their own production, right? I mean, we're all independent contractors. They're where that's the way that real estate brokerages have been designed. Now there's counterculture options like the Redfins or the Zillows that are counter to agency. But for us as agents, we have this opportunity for us to create an opportunity for ourselves. And having support is incredibly valuable. So you have 10X. What does a training look specifically for an agent that joins the 10X?
Yeah. So, what I really did, when I was in, we'll get into No Agent Left Behind.
Yeah, we'll
But
get to
10X,
that next. Yeah.
yeah, we're going to get to that. But I want to kind of tell you on the 10X side again. When I would bring agents into my team, my physical team, I would tell them this, and most brokerages and teams wouldn't tell the people this. I would tell them, listen, my goal for you and what I'm going to give you on my team is I'm going to give you 6 months to be self-sufficient. Okay. I'm going to teach you the 10X mindset to, number one, go out, build your own brand, but go out there and be self-sufficient. So you're never relying on a team and you're never relying on a brokerage to be able to generate your business. And so again, it was teaching them the mindset of the 10X mindset and the 10X agent, what they do differently. And I had very well success with being able to help an agent from day one to 6 months being self-sufficient where they didn't need me. And I was hoping for that, right? Because that's where I feel that our industry has failed is, and that's why agents, they fail, is because they don't teach them everything to do. So the training really consists of, how to go out there and prospect, how to go out there and time management, how to go out there and build rapport with clients and be a relationship builder. Okay. And then go above and beyond what the average agent is doing out there for their clients. That way you stand out like a sore thumb. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the consistency. And again, a lot of it was mindset, and a lot of that, a lot of what happens in your business has to do with your mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, then you're not going to be able to go out there and be successful. So just keep, training and putting them in that same mindset.
I like it. So there's two failures when we go and join a brokerage. One, and you talked about both, is having something that offers enough preparation for you to have success and giving you training that's going to actually make a difference. And then there's also, and this is something, it's funny you say that, something I think I struggle with me because I've got a team myself and as a broker myself, is creating independence, right? So at some point you don't want them every day calling you for building their business. They need to have a point in time that they can now break away and make phone calls every once in a while, right? I mean, no problem with that, but not having to continue to be on an ongoing training mode. They need to be building their own business, having success. So we have offering enough training to get them success and then offering an opportunity for them to actually do this on their own. So those are two really good things that you talked about, I think would be really important. I think now we have another opportunity. You've created something that's No Agent Left Behind. I didn't know if that was something that was a brand or an opportunity or something you've created for you or something that you saw somewhere else, or maybe it was with another brokerage. So if you could talk a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just to back up, I was as the 10X agent, as the real estate agents, when you get to a certain production, you either are complacent and you just keep doing the same thing over, which is insanity, or you want more. I'm wired where I want more and I want to help out more people. So what I did was when I got to a certain production as just the 10X agent, I started the 10X agent real estate team. I ran that team for about 2 to 3 years, and helped those agents. But as I was running that team, what I realized is the agents didn't really want a team. Okay, what they wanted was they wanted support and training to help them get to their goals. So finding out what the agents, goals and wants are, just like we find out what our clients' goals and wants are. Okay, I was able to do that. But in that interim of building that team, I realized that those agents, just really needed more of a culture to be involved in, to where they never felt like they were being left behind. And there was a previous brokerage I was at before the previous brokerage I just left. Okay. Where I felt that there were agents that were being left behind. And so when I joined this previous brokerage that I just left, that I was at 2.5 years, I brought that culture of No Agent Left Behind to that brokerage. And with their core values, okay, I was able to go out and help more agents train a new brand, a new mindset of collaboration versus competition. Okay. And so that is where the no agent left behind comes into play. And what I did is I basically, about 2 years ago, I shut down the 10X agent real estate team. And what I did is I created a marketing group, okay, to where I could go out and help the masses of people. Now, locally, people that were on my team, they could use my 10X brand and things like that. But then I could go out to the masses and help more agents out by bringing them into my sphere and really building that brand of no agent left behind. And so what no agent left behind means is that my goal is to make sure that, for the rest of this life that I'm on this earth, is to bring down that 87% of realtors fell in their first 5 years. So my goal is to have enough agents, okay, that I surround myself with to be able to help them succeed and get what their goals are and get to their destination fast enough, and making sure that no agent is left behind. So that's really my passion and my mission right now. 10X served its purpose. It's still a brand that I have. It's still something, but it was a stepping stone to get me to no agent left behind. And that's where I am. I'm headed right now in that direction with that as well.
How long you been doing it? The no agent left behind. You said about a couple of years. You said with another brand.
Two and a half years. I brought that over 2.5 years. September of 2020, I started doing that brand and started building that culture. Last year, I went on a road trip. I did no agent left behind events, and then we would have We Grow Together happy hours. And all I would do is go out and bring in other speakers and deliver value to agents. We went to Louisiana, we went to El Paso, I went to Florida and Mississippi, and we would just run these events, find local realtors in the area and have them come speak and deliver value, invite all realtors, didn't matter what brokerage you were with, and just deliver value to agents. Don't talk about the brokerage you're with, and just deliver value to agents. And that's my concept of no agent left behind.
Okay, so it's not a team, but it's a mindset. It's a collaboration. Is it for? I'm sure there's a training component because we're talking about mindset, right?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So I will tell you this. I'll give you a little sneak peek, and nobody knows this, but the no agent left behind brand. Okay. I basically took that brand and basically I look at it as like, just putting that energy into a brokerage. And I did that for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And now I feel that it was time for me to go out and help others with it. So I've actually started a localized team in the Austin area with that branding, okay, which will be launching very, very soon. But the marketing group will be launched with that as well. So those are all coming very, very soon, to where there will be it's going to be called the No Agent Left Behind group. And so in that sense, here in the and my plan with that is, here in the Austin area is, agents that are feeling like they're left behind, they'll want to join, the No Agent Left Behind team, where it's a culture of making sure that nobody's left behind, but then also expanding that into other markets as well. And not so much like your traditional team where you're buying leads and you're doing all that. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like Place or Livian, those types of networks. So a network like that where people can come in and get that culture that there might not be getting at their other brokerage, but getting inside of a network like No Agent Left Behind.
Is there lead generation provided here, or is it specifically for helping them cultivate and create their own opportunity?
Yeah, so there'll be a little bit of both, right? There'll be a little bit of both. There'll be some lead generation, depending on, like, for instance, locally, right? But the people that are not local, okay, that'll be more of, coaching, mentoring, and training and helping those agents grow. And then depending on the market and the leaders that I find will depend on, what type of, if we decide to invest in any type of lead generation and things of those natures.
So you're at a new broker now. Why not? Have you ever opened your own brokerage? Let's start with that.
Yeah, so great question. I was on the cusp of just so you know, I joined that broker when I came into real estate, and then that didn't work out with that broker, and so then I went and I joined a brokerage in a mom and pop shop that taught me really about all the contracts and things like that, and then I joined another little mom and pop, okay, and then the broker, his father passed away, and he kind of dismissed his brokerage, and so I ended up joining a big brokerage, which was Remax, okay. Funny thing is I didn't believe in, all the fees and things like that. I couldn't brand myself with the 10X agent. So, what I did is I was about to go open up my own brokerage, and then somebody shared with me the cloud-based brokerage model. And when I saw that model, okay, at that point I said I'll never have to open up my own brokerage because I can do what I want to do and what I'm passionate about underneath the umbrella of what these cloud brokerages offer. And so that's why I'll never open up my brokerage, just because I don't have to. I don't have to have all the liability and all of that, and I can actually expand more in a cloud-based brokerage model.
Okay. So even the current one you're in now is cloud-based?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, so you can benefit and you see the opportunity. So that's going to take us kind of like in the next section. I want to think about as a new agent or an agent that's struggling where they're at and they're looking for, is there a better option for me? Or, is there other things that other brokers offer that would make more sense for the way I want to build my business? I don't know many people that have been at as many brokerages as you have. So you've certainly had, an insight on how a lot of them set it up and structure. Some of them have no culture, but they focus on delivering, you know, opportunities at the lowest possible cost. And then others are, it's my brand or no brand. There's certainly those, the big brand brokerages, a lot of them own that market space. I do like the cloud-based model myself. I think it does give us the best of all worlds. I was an independent broker for 10 plus years, and the liability and the responsibility of managing and doing all of those things, it killed my workflow myself. I couldn't produce much, and it made it so I'm working all the time. And since moving over, I cut all those strings. Now I quadrupled my, the amount of production that I do. And then I also, absolutely multiplied the amount of agents that I can touch and help. That's the leveraging ability when you do it this way. Even the small amount of split that I give to do it is absolutely worth it. So I think that's good advice for people that are like you and I. But let's talk about people that are looking. So what are some things that, cloud-based was probably one of those things that was a game changer for you, it sounds like, where you all of a sudden said, why am I paying for advertising? Why am I paying for a brick and mortar? Why am I paying for desk fees? None of those things are going to sell real estate for me. And the big brand that you're using and you're standing behind, that's not selling me any real estate either. What's some things that agents should be thinking about if they're looking at either making a move or getting started in real estate?
Yeah. So a couple things. Number one, you need to really find out who you're. You need to find out first of all when you're interviewing these brokerages. Okay, you need to find out if you really feel that they care about you. Okay, and then you also need to be very careful with who you partner with. Okay, uh, whether it be a brick and mortar, whether it be a cloud based. And then you also have to have this mindset. And Sean, this might be new for you. And this is one of the reasons that I switched over to the new brokerage. Okay. Because my mindset is all about the agent at the end of the day. It's not about the money. It's literally about the agent and the future of the agent. And so let me just back up here. The reason why I made this next move to this other brokerage was because I believe in the life cycle of the agent. So the life cycle of the agent could be somebody that is way up here, or it could be somebody where the market shifts and they go back down here. So my new philosophy is agents need choice. Okay. Depending on the life cycle that they're in their real estate career. If it's a long career and they're not a part-time agent, they need to have choices. And when I moved over to this model, which I is the first and only out of the cloud-based brokerage models that's actually a true hybrid model between the two. You know, there's three big cloud-based brokerage models. This model creates a hybrid model that gives the agent more choice depending on the cycle that they're in. And so when you're talking about a new agent and they're looking at a brokerage, what they want to do is, number one, make sure that the person that they're partnering with, or the brokerage or the broker, that they have support, and that it's not just a bunch of shiny objects. Okay, because it's very important to make sure that they're partnered with the with the right person. But then the second thing is they need to think of not just today, but the future. If something was to happen, do they have the choice? Okay, that would make it the choice in real estate underneath one umbrella based on their career. Because here's what happens is an agent joins a brokerage. Okay, let's say a new agent. Most new agents, okay, and I don't want to name brokerages, but Keller Williams does a fantastic job with new agents, right? They infiltrate them, they get them over there. It's a big brand. It's been around for years. They promote their training and all this type of stuff. But here's what happens with an agent. They join a brokerage, okay? If they get the support and they actually become successful, what happens is they end up realizing that they don't want to pay a 70-30 split anymore, you know? And so they're like, hey, I've built my own brand. They get the support. The one that doesn't get support, they're the ones that fail. That's the 87%. But then they go and look for the cheaper price, right? They look for the next brokerage that has the cheaper price, and then they jump over there, right? And that's where the jumping happens, right? So imagine being at a brokerage where you can actually have the choice in all aspects of whatever cycle you're in to be able to make that choice and not have to jump around, type of deal. So that's where I came up with that. So I would just say, make sure you partner with the person that's going to be support, and make sure that you have the agent choice. And that's really the main reason that I moved, was more agent choice.
Okay, so hybrid means that I'm no longer in training mode. I can go independent mode. Let's adjust the split accordingly now that I'm going to be on a different tier. Is that what you mean by hybrid? Like you have
Yeah. So
a higher
yes.
production option?
Yeah. So hybrid would be imagine being able to
So full support to less support. Is that kind of?
No, not exactly. So
Okay,
saving more money, but getting the same support, getting the same marketing materials, getting the same technology, but saving money. So let me give you an example. Okay. So let's say, you know, I know you're at a cloud-based brokerage. I've been at a cloud-based brokerage. I'm at one now as well. But let's say somebody like you and we all know that most cloud-based brokerages have they have other ways of making money besides just selling real estate, right? So let's just say that you've got a producing agent and they're producing and they're doing fantastic, okay? But they don't take the component of the other way of making money, which is usually the company doing revenue share. Okay. And so, you know, but they're a top producer. Sorry, my camera does that, buddy. I apologize. They're a top producer, but they don't have any aspect of getting into that other source of income, or maybe they just don't know how to, and maybe they don't have the support to be able to get that done. Well, they don't have the choice but to pay that cap that they're at their brokerage. But on the hybrid model, they would have the choice to be at a lower cap, okay, and basically take more money home, but still get all the support, if that makes sense. Get all the marketing, get all the technology, everything that person that would be over there, the just the one choice, which is whatever the brokerage is offering for cap. So that's where the true agent choice comes in, because I know lots of agents that produce, but they don't take advantage of that second income like some agents do. There's a very small percentage that do. So that's where the hybrid comes in with the agent choice.
It's the same with all brokers. You know, KW, it created this residual based model years ago. And I mean, it's probably less than 5% even have one agent that they've brought in, right? I mean, it's an incredibly small amount. So 95% of agents are not really benefiting, you know, from that component, that part of it. Most of them are not. So what is the give up, right? So why wouldn't just say, well, let me just pay less, what is the trade-off? What am I losing to pay less on the split? There's got to be some trade-off there, right?
Actually, there is no trade-off, and that's the beautiful thing about
So
this
they offer
hybrid.
the same plan to everyone. You're just calling it kind of a hybrid. So it's a lower payout per year, but you still get all the benefits.
Correct, exactly.
I got you.
Yep.
Okay. I like that. It's very interesting. Let's talk about someone that's brand new. We've talked about experienced agents. I want to go back to a brand new agent, and some of it's probably going to be still the same application, right? Would you suggest, so the old rule, so I had my own brokerage, right? And I didn't have the time and energy to take a brand new agent from start to finish. So I would tell them, go jump in, like you said earlier, KW, right? They got the training programs, they have success, they have a culture, they have things going. And this is 10 years ago. And I used to say, just go over there. And then after about 6 to 9 months, when you start getting some sales and things moving, you're welcome to come back and we'll talk and see if we have a good fit together.
Yeah.
What would you say for a new agent? Do you take new agents? Is that something that you have no problem with?
Yeah, I love new agents. I love new agents more than experienced agents because it's a I know this sounds bad saying it, but it's like a project, right? And I get more fulfillment out of making that agent successful within their first 6 months than I do taking an experienced. See, an experienced agent, I don't have to train, I don't have to mentor, I don't have to do all the things that I love to do. A new agent, I know I can take them underneath my wing. I can give them everything that I've got in the 20 years of experience, and I can make them successful. And when I see that baby, fly out of the nest, okay, that is more fulfillment to me than any of the money that comes on the backside of it. So I love new agents.
Yeah. Where would you tell them to go if they were, so you would take them yourself? What about an agent that is maybe not applicable for joining what you've created? They're out there in another state, that you're not in. What would you say to them? General advice for a new agent.
Yeah. General advice is, number one, I would tell them that they need to stay plugged in with whatever brokerage they join. They need to stay plugged in and they need to be committed to the commitment. Okay. And they need to lock arms with somebody, whoever's at that brokerage. Okay. And make sure that that person is there to support them, and they need to take daily action. And that goes back to my 10X mindset, daily action. If I have a new agent and they're trying to get business, I'm not going to just shove them leads. I'm going to teach them how to do the basics. Hey, I need you to do an open house for the next 4 weeks. If you do an open house for the next 4 weeks, all right, guess what? If you get 2 clients out of that, that's 2 more clients that you didn't have, right? But if you just do one open house and it was a bad open house and nobody came and you quit, well, it's not going to happen. It's consistency. So, I'm going to teach them the basics first and then help them, succeed that way. So yeah, a new agent, again, new agents need to be committed to the commitment. All right. And they need to make sure that they are going in for 90 days straight, full on real estate. Right. And no excuses.
Yeah. No, I like it. Get that mindset right.
The mindset. Yep.
Yeah. What do you think of, so I heard you talk about earlier that, your focus is on agent growth, agent relationship, agent development. What are your thoughts on Zillow and Redfin?
Yeah. So listen, at one point in my career, I was spending $30,000 a month with Zillow. Okay. I don't have a problem with Zillow. A lot of agents complain about Zillow and they're going to take over the world and this and that. And the reality is like that. Why not utilize what they have? If you can't build it, join it. Right. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, they are high quality leads. I don't have a problem with Zillow. I made lots of money off of Zillow. Now, what I will tell you is by having Zillow, and this is another mindset thing. Okay. I worked Zillow for a good 2 years straight. I got up to $30,000 a month split between me and a lender. Okay. And here's the reality. Today, I have a referral base because I took care of those clients and I loved back on those clients. So now that money that I spent with Zillow, I'm actually getting back in return because I took care of those customers after the fact. So I used Zillow as an entryway to get a referral-based business, but it doesn't happen unless you take care of the customers after the sell. So I don't have a problem with it. What was the other one you said?
Redfin.
Yeah, so Redfin, I was a Redfin partner. I didn't have as much success with Redfin partner than I did with Zillow, but utilize all the lead sources out there. Okay, and then what happens is at a certain point you learn how to create your own leads. Excuse me, your own leads as well, right? Learn how to go out and generate your own leads. Here's the problem with where people get just like overloaded, right? So let's talk. If you're going to focus on Zillow, focus on Zillow. Okay. Master Zillow. Like I mastered Zillow. Like my close rate was like 95% because of the fact that I mastered it. If you're going to master YouTube, master YouTube. Don't just put on a few videos and be like, hey, I'm done, because there's agents out there that focus on YouTube and they sell hundreds of millions of dollars every year in real estate off of YouTube. That's why they're successful. If you don't like YouTube and you want to do TikTok, master YouTube. Again, it all comes back to, master TikTok. Master something, and once you've mastered it, then move to the next one. But what real estate agents do is they're like, oh, I got all these things, I got to do this, I got to do this, and they don't do it consistently. If you're going to master open houses, be the master open houser. If you're going to do expireds and for sale by owners, make the calls every single day. So that's what I would say is just be consistent and master one thing and then move to the next one and master it from there.
Yeah, you talked about closing a Zillow lead, and then you have this after sale relationship. What does that mean? Give us one good tip that you think would be good for anyone that you close that you want to maintain a relationship going forward.
Yeah, so it's funny, man. At my previous brokerage, I remember hitting an award, which is an icon award. I hit it twice, and I remember hitting it, and I remember going, man, one of my friends in Austin kept hitting it, and I was like, how do they hit it every year, and they're not spending any money on leads, it's all referral. And I was looking at my wife on the back porch, and she goes, Matt, and it was just the stupidest question, but she goes, Matt, because you're always focused on closing the next deal, and you forget about the customers that trusted you and liked you, and you never talk to them again. And I was like, man, you're right. And I was like, well, I need to figure out a way to do that, but do it automated to where I don't have to think about it, right? Because that's the way that I operate. Okay. I'm not a guy that schedules out calls once a month. That's not me. So I started doing some research, and I found a company about 3 years ago that I utilized, and I can send you the link to it as well. But the company's called Client Giant. Okay. And Client Giant has been amazing for me for referrals after the sale. So Client Giant has a package, okay? It's called the Top of Mind plan. And what I would do is every closing that I would have, I would set them up on the Top of Mind plan, which through their technology platform is super easy. And what I would do is they would get 4 gifts from me a year every quarter. And these gifts were not like had my logo on it and was like, I'm the best realtor, like a coffee mug with my face and my brand. They were unique gifts, okay, that were thoughtful gifts. And that's what this company does, is send out thoughtful gifts, because the guy that started the company is out of California, and he used to be a real estate agent, and he used to get referrals by sending his clients stuff from Amazon. And then he said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and create my own company and do it for real estate agents. And so that Top of Mind plan, after I have a closing, me and you both can agree, Sean, that investing $99 on that client for a year is not a big investment. So you literally put the client on there, $99, and for the next year, they're touched 4 times, and you never have to worry about it. And the great thing was, when I started using it, I would have randomly my customer, like one time they sent out this sleep mask, and they have this nice little message, and they don't know it comes from Client Giant. They think it comes from you. And it was this sleep mask, and my client put it on their face and tagged me on a Facebook post and said, hey, if you don't have a real estate agent, like a 10X agent, then you need to get one, because I love my sleep mask. So that type of stuff has just been amazing. And I don't have to, all I got to do is invest that money up front. So that'd be a great tip.
I love that. I used, what I use? I use something very similar. It's EvaBot. Have you heard of EvaBot?
Okay.
Yeah, it's it's slightly different, but they do it. You can pick when it goes out. You can do birthdays. You can do for. I like home anniversary. right? That's our relationship.
Yeah.
Wait, I
Yeah.
sold you a home. That's how we have that connection. The 4 times a year is definitely an extra power benefit for sure to get that, because they'll forget about you every 60, 90 days. They will. It's not
Right.
intentional, but you're not going to be always at top of mind. I like the top of mind plan. Touch them 4 times a year. That's pretty good. This
Yep.
one just goes out once a year. It texts them. It asks them, what are your interests? And then you set the budget as the realtor. And let's say for closings, I might set $200, or $300, depending on maybe price of home. And then it sets to go out. It asks them what their interests are, and then it buys gifts based on their interests.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
That's
how
awesome.
it tailors it to them, and then it goes out
Yeah.
as often as you want. If I wouldn't do birthdays, I feel like that's a little overplayed. I don't do Christmas. I don't do any of that. I usually do home anniversary. Now, if they sell a house and they move into an apartment or something, then I'm not going to do home anniversary. Then I would do the birthday gift. The only adjustment is I would say, what's better than getting a gift on your birthday is getting a gift a week before your birthday, and I would send it a week before the birthday. So have
Yeah.
a little fun with it, but that's something that I've gotten into. And I've heard of Client Giant. I've just been happy with EvaBot. It hadn't been a real big concern to change. Plus, they just probably like Client Giant, they probably create a way of marketing it from you, where you get your own logo and
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
bought the package where I put my logos and all that, so it comes from me.
Sure.
Anyway,
Yep. And on this conversation, Sean, again, it just goes back to pick what you want, use it, and be consistent with it.
yeah.
Consistency is everything. That's really the key to real estate.
Yeah, and the other 95% of agents aren't doing either of these or anything, and they
No.
close it and move on to the next one.
Right. Exactly. And that was me, man. And I probably missed out on, tons of referrals because I was just worried about the next paycheck and not realizing, hey, one client could give me 4 or 5 more houses,
Yeah. Well, I think
So
what it is, where people fall short, is that they look at it, well, they're not going to forget me. And that's not
right.
the case. They're
That's
going to forget you. They're
they're
going
gonna
to.
forget you. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe 6 months. Maybe you're lucky and they'll remember you for 6 months, but man, they're
Yeah.
going to forget. And
Think about
then they'll get that mode, and then they'll say, you know what, we need to be looking at moving because they added a kid or take away someone in their household. Those things are usually your number one criteria. And then they just start looking at houses online, right? And then they make connections with somebody online, and then they totally forgot who sold them the house. Didn't even come up.
Yeah. It's like Sean, it's like if you've ever bought a vehicle, you might have had a great experience with the guy, but if that guy never followed up with you when you go to buy another vehicle, you don't go back to him because you're thinking about yourself because that guy never reached back out to you. That guy never sent a card to you or anything of that nature. So
yeah, free tip for people selling cars. Real simple, man.
Sorry. Yeah.
Every 6 months, send them something small. I mean, it's worth it. It's an easy investment.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about branding. So I've noticed that any of your branding, 10X, No Agent Left Behind, it's not the Matt Mittelstadt group, right? I mean, there's intention when we do certain things and we create branding. I created True West Realty Group a long time ago, and it doesn't specifically mean something, but it's not my name. And I don't want, I had my own reasons of why I did it, but talk about why that's relevant or why you chose to come up with something that people maybe could stand behind.
Yeah. So I think my branding all comes back to vision,
Yeah.
If you create a brand that has a vision, people want to follow a vision. If you look at brokerages and people that join brokerages, it's based on the people that started the brokerage and their vision. Okay. I'll give you an example. I have a couple agents that just joined me at my brokerage, and they had left my previous brokerage and joined a brokerage here in Austin that had a vision of their I'm not going to say their name, but their vision is you're the agent, you're the entrepreneur. We're going to teach you how to be a better entrepreneur. Well, they were there for about 6 to 8 months, and that vision was lost. And when that vision was lost, they decided to come back and join with me because of my vision, right? And so if your vision is strong and you take care of your people will take care of you. So again, you should create a brand around your vision, and then you got to be all in on it. So I'm just going to show you, brother. So I have No Agent Left Behind on my on my chest. Okay. Like you gotta love it. You gotta have it. It's gotta be your vision. And you gotta go with it. And when you create that, people follow that because they know how passionate you are, and people want to be a part of something bigger than they are at the end of the day.
Sure. People will buy into it, and they absolutely will join. I mean, that's absolutely true. People do want something greater than themselves, and a lot of them won't admit that. But whenever they see it and they feel it and they have that energy with it, then it gives them that, that sense of we're together. We're going to get this done, and they can grow something with it. I like it. So you use it for both recruiting and for building brand awareness for client awareness. So you've done 10x. So now you've got all these old clients you closed with 10x. How do you make a transition over to no agent left behind? Is that for agency, or is that your no agent left behind? Is that what you use for retail buyers and sellers?
So it's going to be, again, what's coming is it's going to be for buyers and sellers as well, because here's my concept. The customer does not care about your brand. Okay. They don't care about what's on the sign. Okay. They care about the individual that they're working with and the service that they're getting. And if they like and trust you, it doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. A lot of agents think that they join a brokerage because of the brand, and they, especially new agents, they think that that brand is going to help them sell more houses. But the customer does not care about that. The customer cares about the person that they're talking to, the person that's helping their family out. That's what they care about. And in all these brokerages that I've ever switched over to, I've never had a customer go, well, you know what, man, I'm not going to work with you anymore because you're with XYZ now. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the person. So if my real estate team here locally is the No Agent Left Behind group, and we're selling houses, and we have our signs up that say No Agent Left Behind group, and an agent comes in, number one, the agent's going to be captured, especially if they're having some hardship from their brokerage, and maybe they're not getting supported. They're going to reach out and go, hey, what's this No Agent Left Behind group? Right? Like, what is that? Right? So again, branding. Okay. So it is, and I don't like to say the word recruitment. I use attraction. Attraction is, it's kind of the same thing, but it's building relationships with people, just like you build relationships with your clients. And as you build relationships and you deliver value first to the agent, if that is your prospect, then what's going to happen is they're naturally going to be attracted to you and want to come into your vision as well. So that's the difference between attraction and recruitment.
Okay. Do you set aside time for attraction? Do you do it at network events? How do you attract people?
So I literally attract people by delivering value to them first. So I do network with a lot of people. Okay. I do go to networking events, but I always find things to deliver value to the agent first. And what I found is that like, I don't make cold calls. I don't do mass emails. I never reached out to an agent and say, hey, let me tell you about my brokerage. It's the best thing since sliced bread. People naturally reach out to me based on the value that I'm delivering them. They're like, hey, what brokerage, or what are you doing? Tell me what you're doing. And then that's when the conversation opens up, is on the attraction side for agents.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you an example. So I started a YouTube channel about a year ago. I'm not a YouTube influencer. I don't want to be a YouTube influencer. My main goal is delivering value to agents, no matter what brokerage you're at. Sean, if I can help you, and I just gave you a tip on Client Giant and you can use Client Giant, fantastic. I just helped you maybe get some more referrals. But I started a YouTube channel about a year ago, or any agents that are watching this, any value they get, this is delivering value back to agents. I started a YouTube channel about a year ago. And what I would do on that YouTube channel, just through Zoom like this, is I would deliver value. I would deliver trainings, and it was called No Agent Left Behind, Real Value. And I would just deliver value. I would bring other agents in that are being successful. I'd interview them, tell them and different tips. And I would have agents that would reach out to me and go, hey, listen, I was watching your training. Can you help me out with this one thing? I would get on a Zoom with them. I'd help them out, whether it was CRM or, loving back on clients or whatever training it was. I'd help them out. And here's the beautiful thing. I never once told them about my brokerage. I would help them out. And then eventually, maybe it be a month down the road, 2 months down the road, they reach back out. We're friends on Facebook. They see what I'm doing and they go, hey man, I'm ready to, I want to know about your brokerage. And then from there, we would have a conversation and then they would come over and join me at that point. So the more value you deliver, the more attraction you get. I call it like the magnet effect.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic. I try to take a similar approach. Everything that I do, there's no cost in it. You can come on, you can
Exactly.
get tips. Individual clients can get tips. Agents can get tips. I think adding value there is definitely a way to build those relationships.
Exactly.
I love all that. So I think we've covered a lot of the high level things I wanted to do with you. Do you have any closing thoughts that you want to leave with us? And then at the end, we'll talk about how to connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one closing thought, again, I'm all about mindset. And if you're watching this, I want you to understand this and I want you to write this down. Okay. It's, and I'm going to tell you what it stands for, but I want you to have this mindset going forward, no matter if it's in your real estate career or if it's going into your marriage or whatever you're doing in life. Okay. You need to have ADHD and no, it's not the medical condition. Okay. So the A stands for having the right attitude. The D stands for having the right desire. The H stands for having heart. And the other D stands for determination. If you have the right attitude, desire, heart, and determination, you can do anything that you dream of. And then the last thing I'd like to say is don't stop dreaming, because the reality is when we were kids, we dreamed all the time. But as adults, sometimes we forget to dream. Keep dreaming and keep going after your goals. And I wish you all the success.
I love it. That's good advice. How do we connect? And is there a way that the outside, either people that are in real estate or joining real estate or your clients, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, guys that are watching this and gals, I want to let you know that you can reach out to me for anything. It doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. I literally am for the agent. So my number, you can contact me at 512-939-9556. And then you can also reach me at my email at Matt, M-A-T-T, at 10xagentteam.com, and that's 10x agentteam.com.
Amazing. Appreciate you, Matt, jumping in with me. A lot of good information. I think this is something that agents can take and really be thinking about what to be thinking about when they're looking at agency, or maybe the one they're at may not be supporting them in a way that helps them achieve their dreams where they want to go. Very good. Well, I look forward to our next meeting, and good luck to you. Anything you need, you can always contact me as well. I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you, Sean, very much for having me. Have a great day, buddy.
Hey, you too, man.